Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Leslie presents. And now your host, Paul Leslie.
We've got the guys from Saint Somewhere on the show today. We've had Matt Hall, we've had Tall Paul, and now we finally have Saint Somewhere. Welcome Dave and Trey Sansom, Kevin Wiley, and Quincy Yeates. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks.
So you guys are playing at the Brandy House tonight. To our viewers who have never heard the new Saint Somewhere, could you tell us a little bit, what is Saint Somewhere like now?
Well, we've kind of got a style today we call Caribbean Americana. It's kind of a mixture of stuff. We all come from pretty various backgrounds and influences, and you just take a lot of Caribbean music, American music, kind of mix it up and add our little personal touch, and that's what we're dealing with.
And where exactly does this Caribbean influence come from?
Mr. Quincy. Being from the Caribbean and everything.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't have, this is Kevin here. I didn't have too much of a Caribbean influence when I grew up in East Tennessee. I come from more of the, classic rock and roll background, hillbilly rock, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm from the Texas Caribbean. Is that in the Panhandle?
So the old Saint Somewhere was kind of like had a little bit of everything. It kind of had the Grateful Dead sound, kind of had the Allman Brothers, and now it has kind of a feel all of its own. And what would you say some of these influences are on your music? Well, how about the Dave and Trey, the new members of the band? How about they answer that question? What have they? What kind of background have they added to the band?
Well, Dave and I both grew up in Texas, and I was a blues man for a long time. That's my original roots, but then I've played rock and roll, I've played bluegrass, I've played now some reggae influenced stuff. And Dave comes from we played in a rock band for a long time, and he played in a hip hop band, and good music is good music. Good music crosses all boundaries, and as long as it's just not canned and bottled and sold to you, you're gonna like this because we tell you you're gonna like this. That's not what we're about. We try to keep our musical integrity pretty high. We love doing what we do, and we love music, and that's where we come from.
Yeah. I was going to jump in real quick, Paul. Something that's sort of a version that I just tell people when they ask me that question when I'm out. I kind of tell them that we've got Quincy, who grew up in Trinidad, and he's got definitely more of the Caribbean and Latin type background. That's what he was raised on, I guess. Is that kind of right? Latin jazz.
Correct.
Anyway, and Trey told you a little bit about his and Dave's story. They grew up in Texas and the rock and roll thing, and Dave actually was a drummer in a hip hop band, and he's got a wide range of influences. Me personally, I took some classical training. I was actually, a concert drummer before I was playing drum set and stuff like that, and a little bit of jazz influence, and yeah, buddy, hot stuff. But it's really, we all just bring we bring our own little thing to the table, and it took us, we've been together a little over a year now, and it kind of took us a while to figure out. If you'd asked us that question 6 months ago, we probably wouldn't have known how to answer it. But I think we feel a lot more comfortable about the answer today of who we are. We are definitely four individuals bringing something to the table, and somehow we get on stage, and this chemistry, it just, it comes together to form a really unique experience there.
The one thing about Saint Somewhere is there's all these different bands out there, and everyone says that they have their little niche. But the one thing that makes Saint Somewhere a breed apart, I guess, is you can't really categorize their sound. I mean, how many bands can say, first of all, that they have a pan player? And I guess part of the reason behind this individual style, one of the things that this has led to is some pretty exciting news about a new management company that you've recently signed with. Could you guys tell us a little bit about that?
Well, actually, it's a booking agency, Deggy Booking International. They have offices in Colorado, New York, New Jersey, and Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, Quincy probably didn't want to tell you this himself, but he's kind of handling the managerial duties of the band right now. We are very excited about this thing with Deggy. They manage a lot of nationally touring bands, and they're doing a lot of the things that we want to be doing. You know, they're doing with bands stuff that we want to be doing. You know, and we're definitely happy, excited to be on board with them. We're going to be opening up for some bigger name bands here. Our next show at the Brandy House after tonight is going to be, I believe, March the 6th. We'll be opening up for Moonshine Still there, and that's going to be an exciting thing as well. So yeah, they're
Motet too.
yeah, it's the 27th of March.
Yes.
The Motet, yeah. So some bigger bands like that, they're going to open up some more doors for us, and they just seem like people that were on the same page as we were. So we're on that train now.
And you also have a collection of songs that I'm going to be playing a couple of those songs later on in the show. You have a collection of songs that is completely free for download on the St. Somewhere website. Could you tell us a little bit about these songs and how can we listen to these and enjoy them?
We'll get on our website, go to the download section, check out what we've got. We believe in the music. We just want to get it out there. Just please listen.
Yeah, the website, by the way, is saintsomewhere.com, of course, stsomewhere.com. And we actually, I think part of the free download thing started when we sold out of old CDs and people still, there was still a need for them. So we put up a bunch of old stuff and that got really popular. And then, with the new direction of the band, we are about, like Trey said, we just want to get the music out there. We want people to hear what we're doing. And so whatever means is necessary, that's what we're going to do. So, we definitely like to promote the, free sharing of the music. And we like to get people out to the shows because that's where, it's really at live shows.
So, what's the deal with Jägermeister?
We like it a lot. They're our corporate sponsor, I guess. They help us out, give us tour support and free stuff, and it's just we enjoy the drink and we enjoy what they give us. And
I'll break it down. Basically, Quincy called him one day and said, "Man, we really like your product, and we drink it a lot, and we tell others to drink it a lot. And if you'd like to help us out, that'd be great. But either way, we love your product." And they thought that was cool. So they sent us a few things and they started tracking Jaeger sales at St. Somewhere shows. And once they saw that, the spike in the sales, they put us on board pretty quickly.
In fact, the band coordinator for the Jaeger sponsorship program is really close friends with the president of Deggy, that booking agency. And us doing a very good job for Jägermeister put us in a good light for Deggy, so they helped us out there quite a bit.
Well, guys, I'd like to hear from each one of you a little bit and get some of as far as the foundation of your own musical experience, what were some of your own influences? And I'm going to start with Dave Sansom.
Well, I guess my very first musical influence was the Beatles. That was the first music that I ever discovered, like truly discovered. And I think I was probably about 4 years old or something. And my dad had a pretty extensive record collection, and some of his records he had copied onto tapes, and they were Beatles tapes. I think it was the two greatest hits albums that the Beatles put out. Those first two compilations, they were on cassette, and I just listened to them over and over again, and that's really what got me into music, And then once Trey got a guitar and I got some drums, and then it was just I went into a Walmart, into the record section when I was a little kid, and was just like, wow, there's a lot of music. I have these things, but what else is out there? And so I just kind of went on the quest I just wanted to hear everything and just delved into, all kinds of music. I guess I took a different approach to like a lot of people that were my age, when it wasn't cool to be listening to classic rock, when I was probably in, sixth grade or something like that, everybody else was listening to some crap that, nobody's listening to anymore. But, I was trying to discover the past and see what's around today, where it came from, and take that influence that the artist who I was listening to had taken it from, and just, find out where it had all come from. So, from Led Zeppelin to the Beatles to Pink Floyd and, beyond and into some jazz realms. And then, I listen to everything, and that's just what I just have a deep love for music and really love to play it,
And Trey?
Well, I guess my biggest influence was the Texas blues. There's a lot of local stuff and stuff that you don't hear of outside of Texas, that guys like Ian Moore and I guess most people have heard of Jimmy Vaughn and stuff like that. But and then Jimi Hendrix, of course, being a guitarist, you can't go without being influenced by Jimmy. And moved to Tennessee, got some bluegrass roots, and I grew up listening to the same stuff Dave did because, we kind of shared records and shared our dad's records. And now it's just whatever is pleasing to my ear. It doesn't matter what style.
And now Kevin Wiley, the drummer.
It's kind of hard to say. I guess I have more of a, I feel like sometimes I was maybe trained to listen to different kinds of music because I didn't really know much about music. I wasn't like really hardcore. I didn't grow up around music like probably the rest of the guys in the band did. I mean, I grew up listening to the radio and hearing what was played and that, singing along and that sort of thing. And I knew I loved music. That was cool and everything. But it was, and once I got into middle school and, I guess I started playing saxophone in band in about the 4th grade, and that wasn't very serious. But, in middle school, once I switched over to percussion, I found a love, that I didn't know that I had, and, once through all my years of, high school and what little bit of college that I did attend, it was, all studying music. And, as far as listening influences, once I really started getting into music and enjoying music, I was listening to classic rock, same stuff that probably Trey and Dave were talking about. Led Zeppelin is one of my biggest influences. Rush is another, Jethro Tull, basically classic rock. And that would be the thing that you find most. And, most of my CD collection is a lot of classic rock, but then through my training and classical training, I learned an appreciation for classical and jazz, and really got into jazz a little bit later, and studying a lot of it. So just the different training I had, it sort of opened my mind to what all is out there, and I guess it just went from there collectively.
And now we can't forget Quincy Yeates. This is just going to be interesting.
Okay, I have a short but long list. Beethoven, Andy Narell, Chucho Valdez, everything in and within the islands of Trinidad and Tobago, Tall Paul, Bob Marley, Sting. Yeah, that's it.
One hell of a diverse selection.
Right.
So is there anything new in the works with Saint Somewhere? Is anything going to be going down soon?
Well, actually, if you've followed Saint Somewhere for very long, you've known that there's always something happening. There's never a dull moment. So I can confidently answer that question. Yes, things are happening. I probably won't be any more specific than that at this moment, but yes, things are definitely happening.
All right. And so for the people that saw Saint Somewhere in the past, what can they expect now? I'm walking outside of a club. I see on a sign it says Saint Somewhere. I say, what the hell is that? I go in. What am I going to see? What's this going to be like?
Musical euphoria.
Well said, really. You're going to see a very diverse show of, between the four of us, we listed, many musicians and influences. And so if you take a small piece of all those musicians that we just listed, and then you put them inside and spit them back out of us, and that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a whole world of influences, on one stage.
Plus a whole lot of drums, too.
A whole lot of drums.
A lot of drums.
All right. There they were. That was Dave Sansom, the bass player, Trey Sansom, the guitar player, Kevin Wiley, the drummer, Quincy Yeates, the pan player, and more. And there they were, Saint Somewhere.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having us.
All right.